No face detected. Man. Okay, come on now. Good morning. I'm about to fix this. I am going to have to fix this. This is my... Alright. Okay. Good morning. We're having some technical issues with my face tracking. Good morning. Alright, you. This is what... I don't even understand this. It happens right over here. It always seems to want to drift. Maybe it's the sunlight it's going towards. Gotta figure this out. But anyway, good morning. Good morning. All right. Another great day ahead. I just finished another session. I think I have maybe 9 more. And feeling good. I wanted to usually every morning when I get up in the morning, I kind of have a little morning meditation before I get out into the day, go out in the day. And that's right, August 1st 2022. And generally what I do is I put a post out on Facebook. And it just always depends on what has been going on in my day, what's been going on in my mind. And yesterday I was having a talk with my cousin, and we were talking about just past hurts and things like that, and family issues. And I'm saying all that to say that led me to posting this post this morning. My post this morning was, it's normal to still miss those people who hurt you, but it doesn't change the fact that you have to let those people go. I'm going to say that one more time. It's normal to still miss the people who hurt you, but it doesn't change the fact that you have to let those people go. That has been the bane of my situation right now. You know, I have not been in contact with my family for, I can say, years now. We only live 7 miles one way for one parent and 6 miles the other. You know, we're less than 20 miles away from each other. Then my brothers as well. All of our family, we all live in the same area. But we've had some family things going on. And it's been pretty sad. I do miss my family members and what I thought was a great family dynamic, but I do not miss any of the drama that was involved behind all that. And there are times when you sit back and you go and I see people post on Facebook and social media, Happy Mother's Day and Happy Father's Day. And, you know, unfortunately for me, those things led to, how do you praise somebody, in my mind, and this is only from my situation, how do you praise somebody who's abused you all your life? At least when you recognize it, okay? And I say that because I thought in my upbringing that, you know, I was generally a good kid. You know, life was good. I thought I was a good, upstanding kid, just a regular kid. But I was never made to feel like that. I was told that I was a certain thing, and I was treated as such. And I was treated like treated pretty bad. And I did not recognize it because I thought it was a normal way of living. Up until I sat back and went to my therapist and started finding out and started talking about things. And then I started really looking and going through some of these therapy sessions. And I'm like, you know what? That was not right. Yeah, that was a little overhanded there. Yeah, those things shouldn't have been said and done there. And it hurts. I do miss the idea of family, but it sure was nothing that is positive in my life at this time, even up to the more recent times when we were last seeing each other. It's a hurtful thing, but I am so glad that I made it through the rain. How about that? Very, very hurtful times, physically, mentally, and man, I sit back now because I have 3 daughters and 3 grandchildren. And I would hope that with my daughters that they look upon and think back on the things how I raised them. Because I'm not gonna say I was perfect in how I raised my children, because my daughters, their mother and I, we divorced and they were fairly young. And there were things that we raised them in together, their mother and I thought we had a great system intact for our children. It was the situation between their mother and I that didn't work out, but we gave them such a great base, and I still feel that base is still there. That base, that foundation that we gave them is still there. It's that certain part where they have to make decisions with their children that are my concerns, because it's a generational thing. I know what I went through as a child, and my ex and I, when we raised our children, we said, this is what I didn't like. This is what I didn't like. I didn't like this, and I didn't like that. So together we made up a plan, and we stuck to it. Unfortunately, when a divorce comes around and things split, then I'm not adhering to those rules anymore, because I'm going my own way, and those kind of situations happen. Now, the children will never know about those things, but I know on my end what I did, and I look back on those times that when I was young, and how I passed on those things that I did not want happening to me onto my children, and I felt good about it. I still feel good about it. And standing and making this stance right now, as far as being able to verbally say, I still miss those people, but I sure don't need them in my life. It's a strong thing. I have no shame in saying it. I used to be able to say, honestly, I did not want that to verbally be known, because you're speaking on your mother and your father. Oh, no, not your mother and your father. And the Bible says, honor your mother and your father, and blah, blah, blah. And your days shall be long on this earth. And story. And I say there's that part where you say you administer certain things. You apply them to your own life as a Christian, and then you sit back there and you think about the controlling religions of the world, and how certain people got their hands on those holy sacred texts, like the King James Version, which means that he had his version and applied it to the masses. So in my daily walk, in my level of spirituality that I'm in right now, I'm very thankful for the foundation that I have received, and I am very happy to continue to show that to whoever I run across and whoever I speak to. And it's tough. It's tough being a parent, and it's tough living by setting standards sometimes and living by them. And I don't say that like I'm better than anybody else. I've set some rules and some guidelines and some parameters and some boundaries. That's the bottom line. I set boundaries that I don't want people to cross, and when they do cross them, I have to move past, because there's certain levels, and there's levels, and there's a law of respect. I don't give and expecting it to be returned. I give respect to the notion that you're a human being. You may be having a bad day. You may have just received a diagnosis of cancer and your world is over. You may have got a flat tire. You may have ran out of money and you still got the rest of the month to go through. Whatever could be happening with you. And sometimes I still try to take that little equation out of things, and I say, okay, I understand a person has a bad day, but when they come and they cross my path a certain way, or they do something that crosses my level of boundaries, I got to move past them. If you're pushing your agenda that you and your husband got a divorce and you're just snapping on everybody, that's not cool. That's not cool. I give mulligans to those situations where a person might be going through a bad day. I had to do that every day in the prisons. These guys and girls, these men and women, already start up in a bad day because they're locked up in a prison. So I had to make those I had to apply certain things to how I talk to people and how I handle situations with individuals. No one wants to sit back there and have a conversation about how your day is when you're in prison. Now, on the other side, there are those individuals who are in prison and they thrive because they're in prison and they're away from that environment that put them there in the first place. They're away from that abusive husband or wife. They're away from that abusive or toxic situation, and they're in prison and they're, oh my gosh, it's over with. I have had individuals that were my orderlies on a unit, and these guys would just, hey, morning, Davis. They come in the morning just happy, just chipper, hey, morning, Davis. Hey, Davis, I'm gonna get that wax in the floor today. As soon as you open up the back closet, let me get the wax and the buffer. I'm gonna get that floor shining great for you today. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, man, this guy is happy to go to work. I'm coming in at 5:30, in the morning, and he's ready to go to work, happy and jipper. Then one day I asked the guy, hey man, what's up with you? How much time you got left? He goes, hey, I was sleeping on the streets in Mexico. I didn't have no medication. And, at least I got my medication in here. I got food to eat and I got a place to sleep. And you sit back there and you go, wow, this guy, some people call it institutionalized. He would have been homeless and probably dead without his medications if he didn't have that structure and that place at the prison, that sanctuary that the prison offered him. It's sad, but everybody's situation is different. So going back to what I was saying, you can miss those who hurt you, and you can also set those boundaries for yourself and say, hey, that was great. I learned a lesson from you or that situation, but I'm done and I don't need that no more in my life. And that's where I'm at. Right now, it's been for me, do I even post these videos that I've been talking about? There has been this thing in my heart because it's not like the world is going to go out there and see, but those who do watch these videos, when you sit back and you say certain things about my mother who did some abusive things towards me, my father who's done some very hurtful things to me. Am I busting them out? Is it intentional? It's not. It's not intentional. But you know what? It has been very therapeutic for me to actually sit back right now and say, hey, these things actually happened. I'm not making nothing up. When you get gaslit and you've been gaslit all your life, when you sit back and you say, oh, you're lying, you just stop lying, you don't know what you're saying. I'm like, no, I remember this time that you did this to me. I remember. Oh, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. When you've been gaslit all of your life, and then you actually get the awareness and the fullness and be able to say to yourself, it did happen. And then you actually can say it out loud instead of hiding the shame of being abused, being taken advantage of, or being gaslit. Whew. Boy, does it make you feel good to be able to get it out. And like I've said before, ain't nothing like a cancer diagnosis to make you take a good look at things in your life and who you are and where you're going and what do you plan on doing with the rest of your life. Because it's almost like every day is a new day and it's a fresh start. So you can still miss those that you used to love.